He only 9. He didn't deserve this.
Caused front-page outrage.
Whoever did this, I hope they never see freedom.
And a mother's grief questioned.
I want to be with my baby.
Now Karla Lee opens up.
Remember the last thing you said to him Monday?
Yeah.
What was it?
I love you. Be good in school.
And no question is off limits. You did use some of the money to get the car.
I sure did.
You went to Vegas, right?
Did any of the money go to the funeral too?
Are you fearful even doing this interview with me?
Welcome to a special Windy City Live. Now, mothers in front of cameras crying, it is becoming too common in Chicago.
Yes, and on November 2nd, Karla Lee joined that group.
Her only son, 9-year-old Tyshawn Lee, lured into an alley, murdered in an execution-style slaying.
It was a crime that shook this city, but it was Karla's actions after his death that would dominate TV screens. I sat down with Karla to finally get the answers to all those questions.
Karla, how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
Are you fearful even doing this interview with me?
No. No. If it's my time to go, it's gonna be my time to go.
You're not scared anymore?
I was scared at first. I'm not scared no more. I'm not scared no more. Like, well, I can't really say I'm not scared no more because I was just scared 2 days ago. Walking to my mama's house and I was scared then. I was just telling my baby, like walk with me. And normally I see, when you walk in, sometimes you see two shadows, like dark shadow and then light shadow, but I also seen another shadow on the side of me. And I'm just like, that's my baby. So I just lift my head up, like, just walk. My baby not gonna let nothing happen to me.
It's been a month since Tyshawn's death. When you hear his name, when you see his picture, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Everything. I mean, I try to think of the good times I had with him, but just to know he's not here is just, I have to drink.
You have to drink?
I have to drink.
Did you just start drinking?
No, I mean, I've been drinking every once in a while, like,
sure.
Yeah. But now it's gotten bad. It's like I'm not an alcoholic yet. But this situation is I have to drink. If I don't drink, I don't sleep.
Tell me about those good times. Tell me who Tyshawn Lee.
At least it put a smile on my face.
Yeah, tell me who Tyshawn Lee was.
Well, for one, he was more than a son to me. He was like my best friend. Like, he was my best friend.
So do you think he was your comforter?
Yes. I cried my baby about everything. He hated when I cry, though. And he get mad.
Really? What would you cry about that he would hate?
A lot. Just a lot. Like, relationship problems. Like, if something wasn't going right with me. I mean, I am a crybaby, but
yeah.
He would just, he'll storm out the room, then he'll come back and he'll just wipe my face like, Mom, stop crying, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, Mom.
So he was like a little man. Like a little
Definitely
man.
my little man.
Was he a mama's boy? Daddy's boy?
He wasn't a daddy's boy, but he was, I don't even call him a mama's boy. It's just like he was, I'm not gonna call him a mama's boy because like, if I try to hug and kiss him, he'll be like, Mom, I'm not a kid, stop. I just think my son was put here for a purpose, and I think that he accomplished that purpose, and now God has called him back. That's what I believe, because my son has an old soul. Like, you know how people say,
yes,
somebody he has an old soul.
Right.
Seriously.
What do you think his purpose was in 9 short years?
I don't even. Well, for one, was to get me back right. I do know that. To get me back right, I do know that.
Right. What weren't you doing that you feel that he needed to get you back right?
I'm not no say.
Okay.
I'm not say I was a mess. I had my son when I was 16.
Yeah.
So I was a hothead. I was a mess.
Well, with the holidays coming up soon, I know this is going to be tough for you.
Gonna be, yeah, it's going to be tough for me. But he is not going to be forgotten.
What will you do? Did you guys have any Christmas traditions, you and Tyshawn?
I mean, Like, besides, like buying them.
Yeah, did you guys have a certain thing you did every single year together? Oh, you bought him a lot of presents every year.
That's all he got. And this little boy ain't cheap. For Christmas, I know he's obviously not going to be here, but I'm going out, I'm buying gifts for her. I don't even care how much I spend. I don't care this, because I spent a lot of money with him. So just because he's gone, that's not going to stop me. I'm going to go and buy presents, and I'm going to give them to children. I'm going to go to the cancer. I want to go to the cancer hospital. I forgot it, but I'm going to figure everything out. Christmas is not here yet. I'm going to go there, give them presents. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to let my baby, because I'm from Tyshawn. Merry Christmas from Tyshawn. I'm not letting my son, he not my son, not gonna be forgetting.
This Karla here that I'm talking to right now, what you're saying does not match the Karla on that Facebook picture. You know where I'm going, right? On the Facebook picture, holding the gun.
That's what I say. People don't know.
But why put that picture out there?
I don't know. That was so old, long ago.
It was a long time ago?
Yeah, I'm just being stupid. Just being stupid. Yeah. And uploaded the picture. I don't know why. I don't know why I did it.
Was that your gun? Or?
No, it's not my gun.
Do you know where you got it from?
Yeah, I know where I got it from, but the person works as a security guard, so
so
they
registered.
Armed. Yes, it's registered. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So when you look back at stuff like that, what's your biggest regret?
Putting that up there.
Putting it up there or taking it?
Taking it, period.
One other note to Karla's life, specifically about her childhood. She was adopted, and as far as any interaction with her biological parents, she said that there wasn't really until she was 16 years old, and by that age she was already a mother herself. Both her parents did attend Tyshawn's funeral.
Yeah, and obviously, she opens up in this interview. What were your expectations about going into it? What did you think of her?
You know what, I, of course, had followed the news. We all had. We'd seen the pictures. We saw the posts. We saw the coverage, like she dominated all the headlines. I didn't really know exactly what I would get out of her. I didn't know if she would be hesitant to open up or if she would be forthcoming on things and questions that folks at home have, people who donated to the page and whatnot. But I think what surprised me most is how honest she was. There was a sense of real, raw honesty. And that, despite what you think of her or what your judgment is of Karla, she was honest and she took the questions.
I thought for me the most fascinating part is realizing just how young she was when she became a mother, and sort of the role that Tyshawn had as being kind of a confidant, not just a child, but he was her little man.
And you know, she's not the only mom like that, who are teenage mothers who are living a certain kind of life, and then they have this responsibility that's put on them, and then they're forced to change. They can't do the things that they used to do, and that's what she spoke to in that, because kids will ground you. We'll be right back.
The murder, unfathomable.
When I get there, I just see a white sheet.
The pain, unbearable.
Like, he 9 years old, and it's like, to be shot that many times.
Next, Karla relives the moments Tyshawn was taken away forever.
That was my baby, but that was my best friend, like my best friend.
She was excited, a new home, a new chance at a better, safer life for Tyshawn, but it would never happen. Karla recalls the panic, the fear after answering a phone call that changed her life forever. I want to go back to that Monday. Do you remember the last thing you said to him that Monday?
Yeah.
What was it?
I love you. Be good in school. He was on his way to his grandma's house. When he get out of school, he know I work. I come pick him up when I get off school, work. He was on his way to his grandma's house. He went home. He put his book bag down, took his ball, went to the park. He had a cell phone. So I say, Tyshawn, when you get out of school, call me. I gave him keys to the house. I said, baby, when you get out of school, call me. He'll call. Ma, I'm walking up to the house right now. I'm finna go in the house. Cool. Tyshawn, I'll be home. You know, I have to get off at 5:30. I'll be home as soon as I can. Yeah, okay, Ma. And 5:30, I call him. Where you at? I'm in the house. And I shouldn't, because he was 9, but he was responsible. Like I said, so he was very responsible. And I know you're not supposed to, like, leave kids in the house you know, under a certain age. But it's the point I had got so scared. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, go home. Well, I know you're gonna be safe.
You didn't want him in the streets.
I did not want him in the street. When I get the call, my mom, she just like, Karla, you gotta hurry up and come home.
Did she tell you over the phone, or did she wait for you to get there?
No, she didn't tell me over the phone. She was just like, hurry up and get here. I'm like, Mom, I'm steady. Mom, what's going on? What's going on? It's Tyshawn. Mom, what's going on? It was a shooting. Okay, what's going on? She did not tell me.
And had he already passed away at this point?
He already died.
He had already died. So when you get there, you go straight to your mom's house?
Go straight to my mom's house.
And what happened there?
I couldn't even wait for this car to stop. I jumped out the car and just ran all the way to the alley. When I get there, I just see a white sheet. I just be thinking, like, how did this happen? Like, why did this, like, how did they, like, did he even feel pain when this happened to him? Like,
right.
How bad was it? And I never been shot, so I don't know how I feel. And it just be like, he 9 years old, and it's like, to be shot that many times.
Do you at all, like, feel any sense of guilt, or do you blame yourself like you didn't protect?
I do. I do, because what happened was I eased, because I was real strict on him, real strict. And I'm like, no, you can't go outside. Told my mom, he not to go outside. And I eased up. I wish I had him.
Tyshawn was holding his most prized possession when he was fatally shot. Of course, that was his basketball. Karla says Tyshawn dreamed of one day being in the NBA. His favorite team, of course, the Chicago Bulls. His promise to his mom is that he was going to buy her a new house.
Wow. It's just so sad, so gut-wrenching. It really does. Now, has Karla ever gone back into that alley?
You know, she has been back to the alley, of course, to attend a vigil, to pray, in any sort of way that she can connect with Tyshawn, and that was the last place that he was alive.
And what about the basketball that Tyshawn was holding? Does Karla have it?
You know, according to Dawn Valente, and she is a crisis responder for Chicago survivors, the police still have it. And Dawn has been with Karla by her side every step of the way since Tyshawn's death. The group's purpose is to help counsel families who've lost loved ones to violence, and it's such a sad thing that that's what they do. They stand by, they're on call, waiting for a mother who has to now join this club that nobody wants to be in.
Right.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Next, who gunned down 9-year-old Tyshawn?
Who do you place the blame on in those instances right after Tyshawn's murder, execution?
And when an arrest is made, is it the right person?
I am so shocked. I'm shocked.
That he was one of the suspects?
Yes.
It was the question asked for 25 days. Who killed 9-year-old Tyshawn Lee in such a heinous way? It was a question that kept Karla guessing. And when an arrest was made, Karla's life would be turned upside down yet again.
Who do you place the blame on in those instances right after Tyshawn's murder, execution? Who do you blame?
Pierre. All my life, I knew having a baby by him was going to be a problem. I knew it. I knew something was going to happen to my son. I knew it. I knew it my whole life.
What's your relationship with?
I don't even have a relationship with him. Do not go around your daddy, okay?
Okay.
I told my son this. I told him. He said, okay, Ma, okay.
When was the last time you talked to Pierre?
Actually, it was maybe like last week.
What does he say to you now? I mean, does he take ownership for any of this?
Of course not.
So he says this has nothing to do with me?
Of course.
Still, even to this day, he's not taking any ownership?
Nothing.
You started putting the pieces
together. I said, well, the only people that I think could have did this to my baby is, there's Corey Morgan. The other 2 boys, I don't even know.
You grew up with him.
I grew up with him.
What do you know about him?
I am so shocked. I'm shocked.
That he was one of the suspects?
Yes. When he walked in the courtroom when I went to court, I could just see it in his face, like, he was so hurt. And he's like, he didn't care who he hurt. He was just like, I don't care. I don't care if it is baby. I don't care. I'm just killing.
And you could
whoever.
see that in his eyes.
I could see it. Just like
no remorse for allegedly executing a 9-year-old little boy who had nothing to do
with it.
If you were allowed to be in a room with him and could say something to him, what would you say to him?
I actually do want to talk to him. And I'm just going to be like, why? Like, why? Like, what? Like, what was, I understand you were hurt about your brother, but what possessed you to do this to my child, for one? He probably thinking like he hurted Pia, but no. You hurted me. And you're saying, I have nothing to do with that. I don't even, like.
So you have no gang affiliations, not involved with any of that?
No.
And for Corey, a few minutes ago, you said that you were afraid for your life because you said he had threatened to do.
He threatened to do whoever honestly, I'm just going to say this. I believe that day, if I was with my child, I would be dead too. I mean, I'm not a gangbanger anymore, but back then I was, like I said, I was wild. So, yes, I was.
You were in the gang life before, but you got out.
When I had my baby, I got out. So that's why I know, like, yeah, I would be dead too.
Are you ever afraid that Tyshawn, when you turn on the news and you hear what's happening in Chicago, that Tyshawn's death will just end up being another statistic?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll never have kids again?
I'm never going to have kids unless I pay for it.
What do you mean?
Unless I pay for it. That's the only way it's going to happen. People they really like, don't know what I'm going through. I will never see my son again. I will never have another child.
I want to ask you about Gary McCarthy, who was very instrumental, and he was out there in that alley saying that this was one of the most abhorrent crimes that he's ever covered in his decades of police service. And then to find out that he now has lost his job, I wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Well, honestly, I can't really speak much of him because I don't really know too much about him.
Okay.
But what I know since my son.
Was he there? He was doing his job for you?
Yeah. To me, he was. I don't know. A lot of people say. I mean, but I was hearing this before my son died that they wanted him out of office and stuff.
But was he there for you?
Yeah.
Did he do? Do you feel like he did?
I think he did.
In your case?
Yeah. Yes.
Carla, obviously, like any mom, is carrying a lot of guilt, not shying away from what she called her own mistakes.
Right.
And she went on and on about how she should have been more stricter. Remember earlier, she talked about how she eased up, let him go outside, let him play basketball. But as you heard out of her own mouth, that she was very certain that she did not want him around his father.
Right. And things have not been easy for her. I know Wednesday was another difficult day for Carla.
Yeah, that was the day that she picked up Tyshawn's ashes from the funeral home, and then she brought them back home with her.
Wow.
Yes.
You can feel her anguish. I mean, you can tell that she said that she's not going to have another kid unless she pays for it. Does she mean that she's going to just keep repenting and feeling guilty for the rest of her life for this?
You know, I asked her that, and I asked her a couple different times, and I'm not exactly sure. I didn't get a clear sense of what she meant when she said she pays for it, but you can read into it as you wish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll be right back.
Next, in her own words for the first time,
Okay, let's just get this straight.
Carla answers the accusations.
You did use some of the money to get the car.
I sure did.
You went to Vegas,
I
right? Did any of the money go to the funeral too?
Her message to her critics.
I did what I did with it. Why is it a problem?
And a revelation no one knew about.
You know, I'm just finna kill myself, I'm finna come with you. But, you know, everything, he was in my head like, Mom, don't do that.
$17,392. It's more than a number for Karla Lee. Her grief would be shared with frustration. What happened to all that GoFundMe money? Money friends, even strangers donated. Here now is her explanation.
I want to give you a chance to set the record, and you've done some of that already. I want to give you a chance to set the record straight. We talked about what kind of mom you are. You have people, mothers who are critical of you, people on social media who are critical of you, the GoFundMe page that was put up with the $17,000 that were raised, and there were allegations that you went out and bought a car with that money. Right. What would you say to those people, and did that happen?
Okay, let's just get this straight. First of all, yes, people could see who's on my Facebook page that I already said that I was going to buy a car way back in October. So therefore, I had already been saving up money for a car. But what made me get the car faster was, first of all, I had no right to get around. I'm on a bus. That's first of all. I have to plan a funeral for my son. So how am I supposed to get around? How am I supposed to get around? Not only that, but then I'm not finna trying to be caught out here on the street. Is you? Corbin no one called then.
Say that again. Say that last time.
Corbin no one was not called then.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So therefore, you think I'm finna be a target? No. And the people's, oh, well, she bought a car, but like cars can go through like bullets can go through a car. But that's better than me being on the feet. At least if I'm in a car, I can try to get away. Right. I'm on feet. How far am I gonna get? How far am I gonna get? Running ain't gonna help.
So then you did use some of the money to get the car?
I sure did. Yep. Okay. I did use some of the money.
Not all of it? Do you know how much you used?
All of it.
You used all of it or not all of it?
No, no. Oh, okay. Of course not all of it. But yeah, I'm just gonna say that I used some of the money to buy a car. And if people don't understand that, then I don't know what to tell them, because.
Can you understand, like, some people who would be upset because they said they gave this money for Tyshawn's funeral?
Okay, right.
And then.
So I'm gonna just say this.
Did any of the money go to the funeral too?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay. But I want you to address to the people who are saying they're upset.
Okay.
With that.
This is how this went. Okay. Now I didn't know anything about a GoFundMe page. My friend put that up for me. I said, okay. I was crying. How am I gonna pay for my baby funeral? They was like, well, this and that, we can. I said, okay, well, y'all do what y'all do. But when I got down there to the funeral home, Sheila, House of Branch, told me, don't worry about nothing. Wow. Use that money, do what's gonna make you happy. Just don't worry about nothing.
So the funeral home covered it for you?
Yes. They said everything was gonna, don't use your money. We're gonna take care of everything. Now, that's for the funeral and for whatever that they had planned. But as far as clothes and pictures and repass, of course, that came out of my pocket. I feel like people upset about the GoFundMe money, and they acting like I can live off $15,000. It wasn't $17,000 because when the people took their money out, it was like $15,000, and they act like I can live forever off $15,000. Like, oof. I did what I had to do for my baby funeral, and with the rest of the money that was left, I did what I did with it. Y'all mad about a car? Come on, a car, come on. A car that I don't even want no more? I don't even want that car.
Why not?
I just don't. You should see the car right now.
Why? Tell me about it.
That car, I messed that car up.
You had an accident already?
Yep, 2.
2 already in a month?
Yep.
Was it your fault? Somebody else's fault?
I mean, yeah, it was my fault. Man, I did so much positive stuff with that money. It's ridiculous. The apartment that I didn't sit here, went and got a whole apartment with my sister, bought all that stuff for the house, and guess what? I'm not even living there.
So you bought stuff for your family? You realized things for your family?
Yes. Help friends with they car. I seen a lady, she had like two kids, and it seems to me like she wasn't doing so well, so I gave her money. I just like homeless. I just been. I went out away. And when I went to Vegas, I went to the Goodwill and donated there. Like people don't even know, like, that money wasn't. I'm telling you, that money wasn't nothing. I don't think I could say that I got from the money was a car. That's it. I don't see nothing else I did with the money. People don't understand that car is not going to bring my son back. Nothing I did with that money is going to bring my son back.
You went to Vegas, right?
I did go to Vegas. I went to Vegas. I said, I'm just going to stay out here. I'm going to live my life out here. It's better out here. I don't have to be scared no more. And that's so messed up because I'm all the way in Vegas and I'm still scared. I couldn't stay in the house by myself. I'm thinking like, ooh, Corbin gonna come back. Seriously, I was
really? Even in Vegas, all those miles away, you were still...
Even in Vegas, because I had already been put out there. I was on the news out there. So I'm thinking like, man, anybody people know where I'm at. They could come out here and hurt me. I couldn't even stay where I was at. And that was a gated community, and I still could stay there. When my friend left, she went to Florida. She said she was already
This is the friend you were staying with in Vegas?
In Vegas. And I already said like, okay, well, I'm still gonna leave, because it's like I didn't feel comfortable. I went, got a hotel room. For some reason, Las Vegas hotels their window does not open. And I was on the 17th floor, but I was just so determined to jump out that window. Bust up my hand, everything. I just wanted to go. Like, I just didn't want to be here no more.
You wanted to die too?
I want to die, yeah. I still feel that way.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I want to go I want to be with my baby. I don't want to be here, but I'm not going to try to hurt myself no more. But if something was like to happen to me, like, I'm not scared no more. I was at first. I'm not no more. Like, whatever. I don't even care. Like, I'm gonna keep living my life like how I would normally live my life. But I know I'm not gonna never go back to me. But I'm gonna try. That's all I can really do is try. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think no counseling, I don't think none of that's gonna help. You need some, no, it's not gonna help. Y'all don't understand. That was my baby, but that was my best friend, like my best friend. No, that's not, I would never go back to being normal. I would not. And a lot of stuff, now that he's dead, like a lot of stuff that I normally would do, I don't even want to get in that situation no more.
Have you even allowed yourself to properly grieve, you think?
Yeah, the day I was in that hotel. That was the worst grieving ever. That was
the day you wanted to kill yourself.
That's when I wanted to kill myself. I'm just like, whoa. Because at first I was in the bathroom and I was talking to my son, and I'm just like, why you do this to me? Like, why you leave me? I'm like, I'm just finna kill myself. I'm finna come with you. But, everything, he was in my head like, Mom, don't do that. I'm not finna let you do that. He's just like, he's not finna let me do it. I tried so hard to get that window open. That window will not open for nothing. I'm like, that's good. And like, I done took my bare hand and bust a car window out. Well, it was my car, but and that one, I'm like, so why this window not? Like, my son just like, nah, he ain't finna let that happen to me.
And what do you think he would say to you now?
For one, stop crying. My son hate when I cry. He hated. My son hate when I cry. Mom, stop crying. My little boyfriend.
Your little boyfriend? Oh,
my little boyfriend. Like, he is
very protective. Didn't want anybody around his mommy.
Very protective.
That's how boys are.
Very protective.
That's how boys are.
Very. He's very protective. He loves his mama.
Oh. Well, Carla, thank you so much for your honesty and for doing this. I know this had to have been extremely tough for you.
Yeah.
And no one, like you said, can walk in your shoes. No. You answered the questions that so many people have had, so all we can say is thank you so much for your honesty, for coming on, and I hope that you've gotten, is there anything you want to say that I didn't even ask you?
No, really, it's just, I'm to the point, I don't even care what people say no more, but people just don't understand. Y'all know people who became bang. Talk to them. This is real like hell, man. These kids is getting killed. They just executed my son. Like, seriously, don't have no baby and no gangbangers. Please don't, because you don't want to be in my shoes.
As you just saw there, Karla is referring to Tyshawn's father. He has repeatedly denied he has any gang ties. And for the record, we did call the House of Branch Funeral Home. We did talk to Sheila Reed Johnson, the owner, and she says, yes, they did pay for the funeral.
Wow, Val, those are some really tough questions to ask, but you did such a good job asking them, and I think everybody was wondering about them too. How long was she in Las Vegas for?
She was only out there a couple weeks, but she went out there to live. She just wanted away from Chicago. She said she wanted to escape social media. She wanted to escape the life as she knew it here in Chicago. She had lived in Las Vegas years ago. So if you're wondering why Vegas, she was going back to a place where she once lived for a whole year. She got out there. She realized that was not the fix. That was not the answer. And she came back here with family.
Right. She talked about wanting to commit suicide and jumping out the window. She said grievance counseling will not help her, but clearly she needs some type of help, Val.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, Dawn is with her, and I mean, Dawn Valente from the network there that helps mothers who are going through this kind of thing. But I did talk to Karla off camera, and I did tell her that she should look into something. You know, she is very fragile now. She has been susceptible to scrutiny from everyone. She is living in a world that not everybody can relate to.
Right.
And until you, like I said, have walked a day in the life in her shoes, it's hard to pass judgment and wonder why she made some of the decisions she made. You know, some would say, you're a grieving mother, why would you run to Vegas? But I have to say, I admired the fact that she came on and she didn't talk to anybody else. She was asked to do interviews repeatedly. She said, I'm not talking to anyone, I'm not talking to anyone. And I talked to her on the phone before she came in here, and she said she would talk to me because I told her, I'm a mother of an 8-year-old boy. I cannot even imagine what you are going through. You know, we have 2 different walks of life, and that's fine, but we're still mothers. At the end of the day, she's a mother, I'm a mother, she lost a son, I still have my son. So for me to sit there and ask her some of the questions that I had, it was tough. I'm not gonna even lie. It was, you know, hard for me to, you know, probe into what she did, considering that she is just a month shy of burying her son.
Well, we've been getting a ton of feedback on social media and from our audience.
Yep, and I have more questions as well, so we are going to continue the conversation after the break. We just got done watching a very revealing, very emotional interview between Val and Karla Lee, Tyshawn's mother. We learned a lot about her in this interview. We didn't learn, what does she do for a living, and is she still working?
Yeah, she's still working. She's a home health care worker. So she goes and she has clients that she cares for at their home.
Watching this interview, I feel so much compassion for her. I feel like during this interview, you were so right. She's so honest. I don't feel like there's
no filter.
Yeah, and there's no manipulation either. It's not like, I don't feel like she's trying to present her side of the story or try to, you know, make you feel a certain way about her. I think she's just being who she is.
She said in the last, if you remember, just a few minutes ago, she said, this is real. This life I live is real. And I think that's what we saw. Go ahead.
And the realization, too, that even before this had happened, it wasn't like she had a ton of resources. I mean, she was a struggling single mother.
Right. And she said, you know, she told me, she said, when I had my son at 16 years old, she said, yeah, my mother was there, her adoptive mother, okay? But she said, I did for my son. I did what I had to do for my son. I raised my son. She hustled for her son. Yeah. So it's not like you said, in terms of resources and having, you know, the support network that a lot of people are afforded, she did not have that.
She didn't even have an example of what it was to be a mother because she didn't really have a mother in her life from the time that she was born.
She had her adoptive mother, who she refers to as Tyshawn's grandmother, but yeah, she said she was adopted. She didn't reconnect with her parents until later in life, and even still, I got the sense that the relationship may be still strained with the mother, but is pretty good with her father.
Right. You guys exchanged a lot about the GoFundMe, and she got kind of fired up about that and people judging her. She said that she doesn't care what people think of her anymore, but you can tell it's really eating at her.
Oh yeah. I mean, just think about what we do. I mean, she was put on front page news and on the headlines because of what happened to her son, but anytime you're exposed to folks and you put yourself out there, you are susceptible to their criticism and their feedback, good or bad or ugly. So to read that that and not react. And she said, I'm a hothead. She said, I'm getting better. I'm a work in progress, but I am, and because I mean, all the rants and the things, it's been out there. People on Facebook have seen it. That's why I asked her, you know, about those questions. But I think, and I did tell her, I said, maybe a disconnect from social media is a good thing.
All right, we're going to take a short break. Your feedback has been pouring in. We're going to read that next.
It's time for your feedback, and we've had a ton of feedback today. The first question, it's from Ariel, and she wants to know, during the interview, I thought a lot about how the questions characterized Karla. How do you think these questions help to shape the public's opinion of Karla's character?
Well, I think that we just asked things that gave her an opportunity to set the record straight. I think we just gave her an open forum to where she can once and for all answer the questions that folks at home have, folks who've donated have, folks who haven't, who are just reading the headlines, and just give her a chance to express herself in her own words.
Right. I thought you put out the questions and then people can formulate their own opinions. But I mean, again, we talked about how raw and how real she was in that interview. And I didn't think that I thought that she was very forthcoming in how she felt, whether you like her or not.
Right.
She didn't. She just put it out there.
There was a sense of genuineness about it.
Yeah.
This is a comment from Barbara. She says, Val, your interview is very revealing. She needs counseling. It leaves me more questions about Karla and makes me question my own stereotypes. I was a 16-year-old mom and high school dropout too. I also lost a son to cancer. I feel her pain.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's no doubt. I think anybody watching that, she's just, you know, when you've lost someone, I mean, both of you guys have been different circumstance, but you know how devastating it is to lose someone so suddenly, and your emotions are all over the place. And I'm hoping and praying that in time that she will sit down and be receptive to counseling.
Right, and that was the biggest mistake I made. I lost my brother to suicide, and I should have saw somebody right away, but I felt like, I don't need it. I don't, you know,
I'll be okay, I'll figure it out.
There's kind of a manhood thing about it, you know, and a stigma about it, and it's something that I should have done right out of the gate before waiting, and then talking to someone. I think it's the best advice I could give her.
Well, there's this thing about, you know, oh, I don't need to go talk to anyone. I don't need to sit on anybody's couch. But that's so far from the truth. We could all benefit from it for whatever the circumstances you're dealing with.
Just wanted to go back to Barbara's comment. She brings up stereotypes. Don't you think there was a lot of stereotyping going on? And I think people watching this interview had to address their own stereotypes or how they may have felt.
And you're talking about probably in the media coverage just of, yes, absolutely, absolutely. But that is particularly why I wanted her to come on, because I wanted her to be able to address it. I wanted people to know who Tyshawn Lee was. It seems like in all of this, we've seen everything about Karla, and what Karla has or has not done. But it's like we're forgetting at the end of the day, there's a 9-year-old little boy. Like, I wanted to know more about who he was, what things he said to his mom to make her smile. And, you know, everything else is what it was.
Right, and the stereotypes not helping her was that picture which she addressed, the Facebook picture, and knows that she said that's the biggest mistake that she has made, was putting that picture up,
and that's why I followed up by saying taking it or putting it, you know, because initially she said just posting it, but I'm like, you sure you don't regret taking something like that? And I think, like she said, it was something she did when she was young. We've all done things in the past, I'm sure, that we regret.
Sure. Does she have anybody really close to her that she can really lean on as a friend and not even professionally?
She has her sister that was with her the day we shot this interview, and she has Dawn that I know of. Outside of that, I don't know.
Right.
You got this real sense while watching her talk with you that she's still figuring her life out, and she was on the way towards, you know, trying to become a better mother. Not that she was a bad mother, but she was just trying to improve her life in any way she could for her son.
I definitely got that sense. She talked about the apartment that they were just getting, you know, and everything that they were going to do to give Tyshawn a better.
And remember, she was 16 when she had Tyshawn. She's 25 years old. I mean, that's when you're starting to figure out who you are as a person.
Right.
You know?
Well, I wanted to read a few more comments. This is from Kimberly. She says, my heart goes out to the Lee family. V says, there is no simple fix because the problem is so complex. And I think that came out too while you were talking to her as well.
Yeah, oh, for sure, because even when I had to ask her about who did she blame for Tyshawn's murder, and we, you know, talked at length, some of it we did not air, we chose not to air, but it's cyclical.
You know, this problem in these communities is cyclical, and unfortunately, young Tyshawn Lee was at the end of it. So, you know.
And there's a lot of judgment going around, you know, was she a good parent, was she a bad parent? But even if she was a bad parent doesn't deserve their child getting executed in an alley.
And who does? What kind of human being kills a kid? You know, the most innocent thing on the planet. And who would do that?
In the most heinous of ways. To lure him into an alley. To execute and to shoot him multiple times that way and leave him for dead in an alley. When you think about that, it's horrific, to say the least.
I wanted to read another comment. This touches on the question you asked her about whether Tyshawn would just become a statistic, and this is from Jody, and she wrote a story for what, a week? It's a shame that, you know, the story will probably be here and then go away.
Yeah, and I think that's a concern of Karla's. It's a concern for those who are in the fight, you know, to stop the gang violence and the epidemic of killings and murders that we're seeing on the south and west sides of Chicago, that you don't want. I mean, remember when we did our show on violence here on Windy City Live, and I sat with the mothers, you know, Hadiya Pendleton's mother, and the other mothers who were now forced to be a part of this group that none of them wanted to sign up for. And it's like, of course they're worried about, you know, it's garnering headlines now, but then they'll be forgotten, and then it'll fade off, and then it'll be the next person. But when is it going to stop? What's the answer? I don't know. We've talked about it at length here on this show, in this community, in the news, and the newspapers. But what is it going to take?
I just want to say, excellent job. I mean, you asked the tough questions, but you did it with compassion, and that really came through.
Thank you.
Very nice job, Val.
It was tough.
You got it. All right, thanks for watching. We're going to continue this conversation on both our Facebook and Twitter pages. We'll see you next time.